Bum, 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 la 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 bum. Bum 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 la 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 la. This is Todd, and this is the Nothingcast. Good to be back for this week. And in this past couple of weeks, I've had a character on my mind. I haven't been able to get him out of my head, and I want to see if you guys know who I'm talking about. He used to be the mascot of a pizza company. He's red, and um, I can't think of a third hint, but those are your two hints. He's red and he's a pizza mascot. So I'm gonna give you like 3 seconds here to think, and 3, 2, 1. The Noid. It's the Noid. Um, and if you even know about the Noid nowadays, then I'm impressed because he really he sort of fell off, and I think that was expected considering just how weird of a mascot he was. He was a he was the mascot of Domino's for a good while, and then they stopped using him for some reason. But his whole shtick was that he hated pizzas. He did not like pizzas. He would destroy pizzas. He would burn pizzas. He would freeze pizzas. Just borderline sick individual. And it really makes me wonder why, out of everything they could have done, they were like, yeah, we want this maniac, this monster as our mascot for Domino's. We want a chaotic evil mascot for our pizzas. Our pizzas. But yeah, I don't know. He's just been in my head recently, and I haven't been able to get him out of it. I don't know if it's like if it's like a curse, if it's possibly, I don't know, infatuation. I don't know. I could not tell you, but I I worry that he could come back. I worry that uh he could start causing havoc again to pizza, and I think that's it keeps me up at night. It really scares the shit out of me, and I I'm gonna move on to another topic because if I think about it more, I'm not gonna want to finish the episode. So I've been doing some thinking about what we're gonna talk about, and today we are going to talk about something or other. Um, I My favorite pizza place is closed, and I'm a little bummed about that. That's why I brought up the Noid and how evil he is. But getting off topic again, uh, when I was in school, when I was in like senior year, I didn't really do any like senior prank. No one really does senior pranks anymore. It feels like sort of this. It's out of date. It's out of style. But for the senior prank, I thought about what I was gonna do was I was gonna on Amazon. You can buy just like these bags of hundreds and hundreds of ladybugs, and I was gonna buy a bunch of those bags and let them loose in the school. I did not do that because I felt like there was some legal that there could have been legal ramifications that I did not want to be involved with. Eh, I mean, I feel like just one of those bags of ladybugs could have annihilated the local ecosystem, and I did not want that responsibility on my hands, so I didn't do it. Um, but yeah, it really takes something small like that to completely just turn the environment into a dump. One bag of ladybugs is all it takes, and then trout are extinct in Pennsylvania. Really, really crazy stuff like that. In Hawaii, they had a really big rat problem still have a big rat problem, but uh, they had a rat problem for a while. So they were like, "What are we going to do about these rats?" So they decided to. They're like, "Okay, we need something to eat these rats." So they decided to bring over mongoose, the mongooses. But what happened was, uh, the mongoose were diurnal, which is the opposite of nocturnal. Which, if you don't know what that means, it is an animal that primarily stays out at nighttime, when you're sleeping. But yeah, the mongoose were diurnal and only stayed up during the day. So in response to this, the rats became nocturnal, and now Hawaii has a rat problem and a mongoose problem. So they really didn't they didn't really help themselves out there. So that was why I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't mess with the ladybugs. I'll be labeled as some sort of like horrible criminal and be put on a CIA watch list over ladybugs, ladybirds, lady beetles. But yeah, didn't really do any senior pranks. I mean, like the last day of school, I kind of went up to people and I told them like, "Hey, they just called your name on the the intercom system. You need to go to the office," and they all believed it. Why wouldn't they? But they didn't call them on. I was just bored. I was just bored. I had nothing to do. It was like the last day of school. All your work's done. You're just sort of there cleaning out your lockers. But there were always these people who were, pretty gullible, so you could always mess with them in some way. And really, what were the people running the school gonna do? Well, give me the attention. It's one day left, and you're done with school for the rest of your life, for the rest of your existence, if you want. Um, but yeah, when you were a lot younger, teachers in school really made you feel like the stuff you did there would go on your permanent record. Like if you did one bad thing, if you missed a homework assignment, you'd be going on a list. So I heard you said the word ass in art class. Yeah? Well, you're going to hell. That's 12 to 13 years down in the clink. Oh no. But yeah, I'm glad school's done. A lot of people are like, "Oh, high school was great. It was fine." You know. They also made it out as if like college was gonna be like so much more difficult than high school. When in reality, college is just way more laid back than high school. As long as you pay attention and get your shit done, you know, the professors really didn't care what you did as long as you were a good student and you were there to do what you were there to do. But yeah, um I had to go to Dollar General the other day to grab barbecue sauce. I was making pulled pork, and I walked in, and I was just immediately immediately assaulted by the scent, the wafting of marijuana, the sticky icky. I mean, it was like being punched in the face. I walked in and I got like a busted lip and a black eye. That's how harsh the 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 pungent odor of the devil's lettuce was in this Dollar General. But I was like, who? Why would you? I it almost seemed like the place was hotboxed. But I got what I needed to get, and I went to the register and I checked out. I never found out which creature of the Black Lagoon was smoking marijuana, but I have my theories and I have my guesses, and that will be on my next channel, Todd Theory. I'm not actually going to do that, but who knows? Uh, I worked at a Dollar General for a little bit. It was not a great time. Definitely a lower tier job in terms of enjoyment. Um, a lot of people on drugs. I didn't work at the best Dollar General. I sort of went I sort of got oh excuse me, I'm like choking to death in my own spit. Um I applied to literally the worst Dollar General in the country, and I sadly got the job because jobs were just so difficult to get at that time. But I started working there, and the amount of people that came in just utterly blasted from whatever paraphernalia you can think of was insane. I had this one guy, he was a regular, he would always come in. Larger dude, had some pounds on him. Nothing wrong with that, but one night he came in, he was not wearing a shirt. He had a black eye, and he he grabs what he needs, he comes up to the register, he's like, and he pays for it. It was a singular chicken pot pie. I'm like, oh, just one chicken pot pie with this guy, this shirtless behemoth, and I know this is going to be interesting. So the guy, he seems a little zoned out. He's like, yeah, this is all I wanted. And I was looking at his black eye, and he must have noticed. He was like, yeah, some guy high on meth broke into my house and hit me with a brick. And I was like, and I wasn't sure how to respond to that. How do you respond to a man telling you that someone broke into his home and hit him with a brick on meth, on the funny Breaking Bad drug? But I was like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty rough. I'm sorry to hear that." In the back of my head, I absolutely knew that this guy was also probably high on something. But I check out his chicken pot pie. He has a trail of drool, just like a fountain of drool coming out of his mouth and landing on the floor. Not, I wasn't too pleased about that. I had just cleaned the floor. This was like 10 minutes till closing, and but that's the best time for uh people on drugs to come in because there's not a lot of people. But I get him checked out. He's like, "Hey, do you have like plastic forks?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, they're in so and so aisle." And he's like, "Oh no, no, man, I only need one. I only need one plastic fork." And I'm like, uh, "Yeah, I can check in the back and see if we can get you a fork from the break room." Which the break room wasn't even a break room. It was a closet, a break closet. But I got him his fork and he left, and I never went back to that job. Not after that. I mean, like when it was time to leave that job, it was time to leave that job, and I I don't regret leaving, not a bit. I I do not envy. I feel bad for every person who has to work at a job like that because they don't want to be there. I didn't want to be there. And it really is a shame that uh I don't know, just that I dropped something. Oh, what's that? Hmm. Uh it really is a shame that, you have to go through stuff like that just to make a quick couple bucks. But I know it I survived. I'm alive. I've made it through. I've made it through my Dollar General trials. Um where I used to live, uh, down the road, we would go to the church there, and where am I going with this? What? Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah. So me and my family, we went to church there every Sunday, and there was this girl, this little kid who would sit in front of us, and she would always bring her freaking DS to church, and I sat right behind her, so I had to watch her sit there in the pew and play, I don't know, the Pokemon Ranger on her DS, and it just pissed me off. So this was like a weekly occurrence that I would do this. I would sneak off. I would say, "Oh, I need to go to the restroom," and I would just run run back to my house to play on my DS because I wasn't allowed to bring my DS to church, but rightfully so. I'm not sitting here and saying that you should bring a DS to church. I'm saying I was a jealous little bitch, and I wanted I wanted to play Pokemon on my DS at church, but I was never allowed to. And the fact that this little brat, this little hooligan could do it really drove me up a wall and made me do things that were uh not very holy, not very Christian like, if you will. I became a hooligan. I became the hooligan in that situation. Skipping out on church, singing the gospel, praising God. Yeah, no, I wanted to go back home and play Pokemon and Mario and whatever whatever other games I had on my DS. But uh yeah, that's another thing that I think is pretty crazy is the whole, Pokemon is evil situation. You don't hear so much about it anymore, but back when Pokemon really started taking off, a lot of people were dead set on painting Pokemon as a tool of the devil. A tool of the devil. Little girls are the devil. Um, but yeah, I went to this church camp once, and I brought in a Pokemon book with me because I've always really enjoyed Pokemon, but uh, it was like, free time. You could do whatever you wanted. So I pulled out my nice Pokemon book, and this one of the counselors walks up to me and basically gives me this whole tangent about how Pokemon is evil and that I'm gonna go to hell. And I just really did. I really could not care less. As soon as he left, I continued reading my book because I don't get it. I don't understand calling something evil. What is good? What is evil? If you have a basis, like say the Bible, to call something good or evil, that's one thing. But I don't think Pokemon's in the Bible. I could be wrong. It's it's been a solid minute since I've read through it. But last I checked, there are no Pokemon in the Bible. Or catfish. I don't think they talk about catfish in the Bible either. Do they talk about goblins in the Bible? I Is the word goblin used in the Bible? Hold on a sec. I'm going to look that up. This is very important. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. Is the word goblin in the Bible? No, goblins are not in the Bible, but the phrase "of a goblin going in the darknesses" appears in Psalm 91:6. Huh. What does that mean? Of a goblin going in the darknesses. Hmm, that's very interesting. Um, what else? What else do we have to talk about today? Today's the day. Today's the day. Uh, Touching back on the ladybug thing, my little brother used to be horrified, terrified of ladybugs. Don't know why. Probably, I don't know. I don't know why. He was just a coward. He was a coward. He was a fraud. He was weak, and he hated ladybugs. He did not. He did get mauled and had to go to the hospital from a ladybug attack. So that might have had something to do with it. But yeah, most people wouldn't get themselves put in that situation. So feel free to judge him for that as you will. Uh, New Jurassic World movie coming out. I was not expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. Um, which, Jurassic World movies and Jurassic Park movies, they're one of those things where, like, they're one of those movies franchises that you don't take too seriously, but you go to see it because you know you're gonna have a good time. You know you're gonna go with your boys. You're gonna have a fun time watching that movie. A lot like the Godzilla movies that have been out recently. They're not complexly written or anything, but they're just fun. They're just fun movies to watch to go and see with your buddies. Um, uh, Fantastic Four looks pretty good. I mean, we only got one trailer, but it basically slaps me in the face for what I said last week about how, you know, Marvel has been stinky. Uh, but yeah, it looks good. Looks fine. Um, what else? What else is new today? Oh. I I cannot find Pokemon cards anywhere, and it makes me sick to my stomach. And apparently, this is a thing that's been going on, like nationwide. Is these sick individuals going out and buying Pokemon cards just to sell them to people for more money, which is which is called scalping, and which is a disgusting petty thing to do, obviously. But no, it makes me very mad that people are doing this. I don't know how many of you have TikTok, but surely you've seen something on uh, TikTok of these maniacs just buying boxes and boxes worth of Pokemon cards, and they don't get enjoyment out of it. They like this isn't a hobby for them or anything. They just want to make a quick buck. They want to make a quick buck, and they will let other people suffer to do that. But that's just the name of the game. You know, it's a shitty game with shitty prizes, and I just want my Pokemon cards. Uh, I know Moist Critical Charlie, Penguin Z0, Moist Charlie. He did a video talking about it. I haven't watched it yet. I've been I've been busy with Lego sets and knickknacks and trinkets. But yeah, I am very frustrated with the Pokemon card situation. I'm also frustrated with a lot of people. A lot of people have been whining and moaning, and not even about anything specific, just in general. It feels like with the advent of the internet, people just have a platform to complain, and they just want to complain about literally everything, and it gets really tiring after a while. And I'm obviously doing this here now on this podcast, is complaining about stupid shit, but after a while it does get grating and annoying. So I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop complaining, and we're gonna talk about something nice. Um, Cassowaries are probably, no, not probably. Cassowaries are the most dangerous birds on the planet. I don't know if you've ever seen a cassowary, but they they have a kill count. They have a kill count. They are aggressive. They are mean. They have these giant talons. They genuinely look like dinosaurs. I got to see one a couple years ago at a zoo, and I it really put it really put things into perspective of like, holy crap, this thing could kill me and wants to kill me. The thing was eyeing me down from a, a metal fence, which, by the way, was not enough to contain this bird. Uh, I did not feel very safe around this gate containing this prehistoric beast, this animal. But I saw this video recently of this guy. He's just hanging out with one, just chilling out. And he looks over, and there's a baby cassowary, and it's fun and it's cute. But it's like, how large must your balls be to approach a mother cassowary? How large must your testicles be to go up to the most dangerous bird on the planet and just hang out with me and hit your vape next to it? You know, your blueberry flavored vape, blow it in its face, it does nothing. It's crazy. That is crazy to me. That there are just some animals out there that are on sight, they will maul you. Honey badgers, that's an obvious one. Uh, Tasmanian devils. Um, a lot of fish. A lot of fish are pretty aggressive, surprisingly. Like pike. They'll. One of my favorite shows of all time is River Monsters, and just seeing all the fish on there and what they do to people is shocking. Very, very shocking. And uh, I but I would love, 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 love to go fishing for them. But I am not patient enough for that. I have zero patience for fish. I know that's fishist. I know that's evil and speciesist, but I don't have patience for them. I don't have patience for them, and I I'm evil. I'll put that out there now. I am not a good person because I do not want to spend my time on fish. I think the largest fish that I ever caught was like solid foot, solid singular foot in length. It was like a trout or something. I don't know. I can't be bothered to remember every species of fish, but I do enjoy fishing. I'm not patient enough for it. I'm not patient enough for a lot of things. Just have a lot of anxiety and stress, and just sitting down and doing something for extended periods of time is very difficult for me. If you can't tell by this and how all over the place I am, just really, really hard for me to do. But as time goes on, and as I get more of these episodes out, maybe it'll get better. Maybe. maybe I'll have something that someone can actually listen to. Maybe, maybe this will be some good quality content. Who knows? Who knows? Um, I know that the episode of today is almost over. It is almost over. I was going to end it around half an hour, and I think it is around half an hour. But let's talk about one more thing. Let's get some other stuff out of the way here before we go. Give you a little extra treat before we go. Well, I'm trying to look around and see if there's anything really to talk about. There was a point in time where I really wanted to, uh, like start like a roly poly farm. You know those little bugs, the wood lice, roly polies, isopods. I wanted to have a bunch of them, just because I thought they were cute and cool and neat and interesting. But I never really did that. And now I'm wondering if I just wonder how difficult that would be to uh, care to a ecosystem of bugs. Do I even want a bunch of bugs running around in my where I live anyways? Do I want that? Because obviously they'll be put in a container, but what if they get out? What if they get out and all of a sudden I I'm just infested by bugs? Um, it was really something to think about, and that was mainly the reason I did it was just because, let's say something happens, how am I going to get those bugs back? They can crawl under rocks. They live under rocks for the most part. Where am I going to find them? I'm going to find them in my bread, in my kitchen sink. They'll just be everywhere. And, you know, it's a lot easier to take care of a cat or a dog because you can keep track of those. You can't keep track of roly polies. You can, but you can't like put a tracker on them or a collar or a leash. You can try. I don't know. I don't think you'll get very far with it, but you know, nothing's impossible. And I think with that, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Do you think you can put a leash on a roly poly or a ladybug or I don't know, silverfish or the house centipedes that live under your floorboards? Let me know in the comments. And you know what? We've had a good episode. This was Todd, and I'll see you on the flippity flip. Bum, bum.